welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We are opening up a highly confidential HR dossier on, well, a notorious workplace menace. But the workplace isn't some boring office building. It's actually your yard. And the rogue employee we're investigating today? Oh, it is actively ruining tall fescue lawns all across North Carolina. So if you value your green space, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to this file. Because this saboteur, it works fast, it strakes under the cover of darkness, and it costs managers, and by managers, I mean you, the homeowner, a whole lot of time and money. Okay, let's dive into this. Let's just take a look at this terrible employee's performance review. Employee name, Brown Patch. Position, lawn destroyer. Territory, well, they're primarily operating right here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Overall rating is a dismal 1 out of 5 stars. And rehire status? Absolutely not. No way. Because every single summer, without fail, this terrible employee shows up completely uninvited to your property and literally, immediately begins tearing up the turf. It has zero respect for boundaries and honestly just a terrible attitude toward your tall fescue. But before we continue our management briefing, let's get the facts straight for the record. You see, Brown Patch is really just its street name. The official scientific alias of our culprit is Rhizoctonia solani. Yeah, it sounds menacing, right? Because it is. This is a highly destructive fungus, and knowing exactly what we're actually dealing with is the absolute first step in building an ironclad case against it. Section 1. Favorable working conditions. Let's look at exactly what makes this bad employee thrive. Now, what's really interesting about this is, well, as any good manager knows, every bad employee exploits their environment to get away with their behavior, right? They look for loopholes, they look for the exact right conditions to slack off or just cause trouble. And interestingly, a lot of these favorable conditions are actually created by accident. We're looking at 5 specific elements here that create a downright hostile work environment for your grass. First up, hot, humid nights where the temperature stays consistently above 60 degrees. Second, overwatered lawns. Third, evening watering. You know, when you water at night, that moisture just sits there in the dark, basically creating a perfect incubation chamber. Fourth is applying way too much fertilizer during the summer months. And fifth, poor airflow across the lawn. When these conditions align, Brown Patch clocks in for a very productive and very destructive shift. Section 2, spotting the sabotage. We need to look at the visual evidence in your lawn. So how do you even know if this rogue employee is currently active on your property? Well, they aren't exactly subtle. This employee leaves a very specific trail of visual evidence that managers, meaning you, need to actively look out for on your daily walkarounds. First, you're going to start noticing large brown circles actively spreading across your once perfect lawn. Sometimes they even take on this distinct donut shape, where you've got a patch of dead grass with a deceptively healthy green center. And if you get down really close, you'll actually see brown lesions on the individual grass blades themselves. But perhaps the most frustrating symptom? This damage seems to appear quite literally overnight. Seriously, you go to sleep with a beautiful green lawn, and you wake up to a total fungal crime scene. But here is where the story takes a kinda dark turn. We've looked at the symptoms, we know the working conditions, but I want you to just think about this for a second. What is the absolute worst, most frustrating part of this whole fungal infestation? Like, what is the fatal flaw and how we usually manage this crisis? Here's the crucial point, and it's a huge ironic twist. Well-meaning managers accidentally reward this bad behavior. Think about it. You walk out, you see dry, brown, dying spots on your grass, and your gut instinct tells you, oh, the lawn is thirsty. So what do homeowners do? They pour on more water. And as we established in the working conditions file earlier, more water is exactly what Brown Patch wants. You are essentially giving the absolute worst employee in your entire company a massive bonus for destroying company property. Crazy, right? Section 3. The termination plan. How to finally fire this bad employee. Okay, let's see how we build this, because enough is enough. It's time to step up as the boss of your lawn. We absolutely cannot let this insubordination continue. We need a strict, actionable process to fire this fungus before it gets way too comfortable and just takes over the entire operation. So here's how we build a foolproof termination plan, using 6 critical HR steps. Number 1, change the watering schedule. Water early in the morning between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. so the grass can actually dry out during the day. Number 2, water deeply, but please do not water daily.
Number 3, cut off the heavy summer fertilization, just don't feed the beast. Number 4, keep your tall fescue mode at a height of about 3.5 to 4 inches. Number 5, do whatever you can to improve the airflow around your lawn. And number 6, stay proactive with preventative fungicide programs. You really want to stop the problem before it even clocks in.
Section 4. New management. Bringing in professional help. Now, let's be real. Sometimes a management problem is just too big or maybe too stubborn to handle internally. To really clean house, sometimes you need to bring in an outsourced professional HR team to take over. And if you're in the Charlotte, Lake Norman, or Huntersville areas, that means bringing in Lawn Pride of North Charlotte. Bringing in a professional management team like Lawn Pride shifts you from constantly being reactive to finally being proactive. They take over all the heavy lifting by actively monitoring your lawn's specific conditions. They've got the expertise to identify these fungal problems incredibly early, and as we know, brown patch is much easier to defeat when you catch it right at the start. Ultimately, their entire job is to keep fungal diseases from taking over your property. Which brings us to the final note in our dossier. Because your lawn deserves better employees. I just love that. It's a brilliant way to look at it from Lawn Pride of North Charlotte. If you're out there seeing those brown circles appear, do not wait for the problem to resolve itself. Bad employees never just decide to suddenly start doing a great job, right? They need to be managed out. So I'll leave you with this to think about as you look out your window today. Who is really running your lawn? You or the fungus?